Hello everyone, welcome to my corner of the world. Today's card features a little known and very unusual bundle of products that Stampin' Up have put together, and it's these vellum sheets along with the Botanical layers stamp set, and you'll find them tucked away on page 93 of the annual catalogue down here. And when you purchase the two items, you will get a 10% discount on them. So what is a bundle? Well, a bundle are products that coordinate with one another, that Stampin' Up have put together, and normally consist of a stamp set with a punch, or stamp set with dies, or maybe a stamp set with an embossing folder that all as I say, coordinate together. But this one is an unusual one because we have these lovely vellum sheets. Now they consist of some blank ones, and then there's ones with the printed leaves, and then there's some cute dotty ones, and then there's these ones which kind of look like a bit like a landscape, and I think that's, oh, and then finally this one with the circles. So there's 4 printed designs, is that right? 4? No, yeah, 4 printed designs, and then the plain ones for you to do whatever it is that you want to do with them. So I've got some samples to share with you. So the one that we're going to do today uses this landscape type. And then the circly one uses, I've done this using some other dies. I've got this one here where I've just surrounded it with the leaves with the iris in the middle. This one, the dotty one, I've put a wreath to sort of pick out the sort of circular part. And then this was one of the plain ones where I've just run it through the fern embossing folder, added a few leaves to continue with the sort of leafy theme, and made it into a birthday card. So I decided I would do this one for you today because we're embossing on vellum, and I just wanted to share with you how you can heat emboss with vellum. Right, so I've got my supplies, and I'm going to take one of the, what reminds me very much of sort of a distant landscape. I'm also going to be using my lovely brand new equipment, the tray, the brush, and the tweezers for the embossing kit. And so I'm just going to use the embossing buddy just to gently rub over my vellum. This just takes any static and any fingerprints off to make it so we don't get embossing powder where we don't want it. And I'm going to be using Versamark. This is our clear ink that's super sticky and allows the embossing powder to stick nicely onto it. And I'm going to pop my first stamp here, and then I'm going to get the other little leafy stamp, and I'm going to manage to get some on there with ink on there without. So I'm just going to put my embossing buddy, that will kill the ink and allow me to re-ink again. Like that. So there's my 2. You probably just see, there they are. And then my greeting, and this is from the same stamp set. When I make a project, I like to use this, to try and use the same stamp set, rather than lots of different pieces from different ones. I'm going to put this at an angle, partly because I can't see to line it up straight, but so by doing it at an angle, I'm not going to stress that it doesn't look level. So we're going to put some embossing powder on. I'm going to change hands here, so I'm not, and just sprinkle it on, and I kind of just shimmy it around a little bit to make sure it gets on all of the adhesive, on all of the ink, and give it a bit of a flick to get the excess off. Can you see? I've got a couple of little bits here that I shouldn't be there. So I'm just going to use my brush to clean that off. And put that spare embossing powder back into my container later. So I'm going to use the heat tool, and I'm going to use it on the high. There. Give it a moment or two to just warm up, and then I'm going to pop it on my, heat it up. So I'm going to use my tweezers here just to stop it flying away. And then I'm going to use my gun at an angle. Now that means that I am not getting pointing heat directly onto the vellum, because if you do, you could scorch it. So as you can see, it's turning really quickly, so I don't have to keep that on there for too much longer. There we go. And if you look, you should see that everything is shiny. Can you see everything is shiny? And that means that your embossing powder is cooked. Now, with my Versamark, the lid doesn't lock. And so I always keep a little rubber band on it, and then I store it upside down to keep the ink on the surface of the pad. So now we're just going to finish the card, and I'm going to give you a few hints about how to attach this vellum. So obviously, because it's very thin and parts of it are see-through, adhesives can show. So I won't be using liquid, my favorite on this. I am going to use glue dots. And with my glue dots, all right, let me see. I'm going to put them where they won't show, and they won't show under this dark part. I'm going to put a couple on the bottom. I can't find my pick your tool at the minute. It was here, and you know, it's like everything, it disappears. And then I'm going to try and put some behind where I've got my heat embossing, so that again, it's going to hide them. Up here I can pop one in this top corner there. Let's see, where have I got some? I think I can probably hide one under my greeting there. So I'll go put another one under there. And I think the only place that isn't really covered is the top here. So I was the same here. So I've dropped it down, and you can probably see it if you look really, really close, but it doesn't show straight away. So I'm going to pop one just in this piece where the printing just starts. Ooh. And then I'm using Tahitian Tide. I don't know if you noticed, and I'll show you again in a moment, but I use the new in colours with all of these designs. Simply put some Stampin' dimensionals on the back. And then if you ding your nail in the middle here, it lifts up the backing and it makes it a little easier to pull them off, she says, and it does completely the opposite. So we're just going to center that up. There we go. Now I've used some of the in color decorative dots. So in the pack you get some of each of the 5 colors. So we're going to pull out the and again, because I can't find my pick your tool, I'm going to just use my nails. And I'm just going to dot these, she says, in various places where they're obviously clearly be seen. And on this one, I'm going to take one of these tiny ones and I'm going to stick it over where I put my glue dot. Now, it doesn't hide it completely, but it takes away from there. And to bring the colour through even more, I'm going to add a little bow using the Tahitian tied metallic ribbon. And I'm going to pop that on with a glue dot. Like that. And we are done. So let me share with you again the other designs. So as I said, this is the Tahitian tied one. This one is the Orchid Oasis. This one is Parakeet Party. And then we've got Sweet Sorbet and Starry Sky. Now, if you look below the video, you will see that there is a link to my blog, and the information about this card will be there. And then over the next few days and weeks, I'll be posting the recipes for these ones as well. So thank you for joining me today. If you've enjoyed the video, perhaps you'll go ahead and give me a thumbs up. If you don't already, I'd appreciate it if you go ahead and subscribe to my channel. And any comments you care to make, I would love to hear from you. Well, thank you for joining me today. Bye for now.